Hi, I'm Cher Pendarvis, and I'm very excited about the new dab stencil brushes in Painter. Many exciting brush looks are possible. For the image you see on screen, my painting West Side Afternoon, I used a dab stencil brush, paper, bristle glazing to add textured glazes to the clouds and the water in West Side Afternoon. These three brush strokes show just a bit of the variety that is possible with the dab stencil brushes. Choose the dab stencil category in the brush selector, and you see here dab stencil category is chosen and flow map smooth wet oil is chosen. The dab stencil brushes mask or knock out areas of the brush dab, making areas of the stroke appear transparent, as you can see here in this smooth wet oil brush stroke. They use stencil media, flow maps, papers, and textures. The brush stroke on the left uses flow map, the brush stroke in the center uses paper, and the brush stroke on the right uses textures. And you can also see some paper grain appearing in this one. I created a custom palette to make it easy to choose the brushes that we're going to demonstrate. We're going to choose the Flow Map Smooth Wet Oil and make a stroke. The transparent areas that you see in the stroke are being created by the flow map that you see chosen here in the dab stencil panel. Next, I'd like to choose the paper bristle glazing and make another stroke. This particular brush uses paper for its dab stencil. And next we'll choose this texture stencil hard pastel and a little bit different color, and we'll make a stroke. This particular brush uses the texture that's chosen, and it also uses the paper grain. Have fun exploring the brushes in the dab stencil category. There are other dab stencil brushes scattered throughout other categories within Painter, so pull up the search function by choosing Window and Search to bring up this little panel. Type in stencil, and you'll see there is stencil flow map, grainy pastel, and chalk and pastels, and there are more scattered throughout Painter and other categories. The dab stencil panel that you see right here houses controls for making adjustments to your dab stencil brushes. If you don't see it open on your desktop, you can open it by choosing Window, Brush Control Panels, and scroll all the way down to Dab Stencil. It's open on my desktop with the Texture Painting palette drawer. At the very top of the dab stencil panel, you see Apply Dab Stencil, which allows you to turn on the stenciling features for this great new group of brushes. Next, you see the source, and there are three different sources that dab stencil brushes currently can use: paper, flow map, and texture. This particular brush, the dab stencil flow map smooth oil, uses flow map. If it used texture, you could hide and show the texture. We can briefly change it to a texture based brush, and you see the texture that's chosen. So with the show texture feature, you can make sure the texture covers your entire image if you wish. We'll turn it back to its default flow map. The Toggle Flow Maps panel allows you to hide and show the flow map panel. Strength allows you to specify the opacity of the stencil. So let's make some brush strokes and show how the strength works. If I make a brush stroke with this smooth wet oil, you'll see that the strength is 100%. And so the stencil is at its maximum. If I turn this to about 50%, you'll see that the effect is much more subtle, and you see a little bit more of the bristling in this particular brush. Min strength allows us to specify the minimum level of opacity for the dab stencil in the dab. Jitter allows us to vary the min strength and the strength within a dab, and smoothness will smooth out the transitions between the jitter that's applied. Expression allows us to have the effect react to the setting in this pop-up menu. Right now I have pressure chosen, but we also have velocity, direction, wheel, tilt, bearing, rotation, source, random, and none if you choose. Pressure is my favorite. Here we have West Side Afternoon, and I'm continuing to work on it using various dab stencil brushes. Right now I'm using the Texture Stencil Soft. I have a custom texture loaded here, and it's based on a photograph that I took. And I'm just brushing lightly over the foreground. I chose my color by sampling one of the lighter colors. And I'm just going to spacebar and pan. Just adding a little bit of this texture. The crackle texture that I imported is working out well for the sandy foreground cliff. Now I'm going to size the brush down a bit and hold down the Option key to turn my brush into a dropper and lighten it up a bit, and I'm going to put highlights onto these hills back here using my crackle texture and the Texture Stencil Soft brush. Just adding a little bit of highlight, you know, where the afternoon sun is hitting these ridge tops. Now I'm going to select my layer where I have the clouds, and I'm going to sample from my image and get a little bit brighter purple color, and I'm going to change the brush to the paper bristle glazing. And we're going to size this one down too a little bit, and I'm going to add a few more strokes. It's a little bit lighter pressure here. Let's lower our opacity a bit. There we go. Add a little bit more wind lines to the clouds. Backing off on this area a bit because applied a little bit, carry these out a little far, so I'm just using the gold to go over it. Enjoy exploring the dab stencil brushes with flow maps, papers, and textures in Painter, and happy painting!